What you're doing then the first time?
They pulled us out of there. They said they brought us back into a town. They said we were going to go across where the Germans came across there during that Battle of the Bulge.
Mm-hmm.
We went 200 miles by truck down below. As it was, when we brought us back and they told us we were going to train for a river crossing, and we in this town, and we got the 10-in-1s that we got opened. We just started using them, and we got an artillery barrage in there. They just left everything as it was. We got them back in the trucks and took off, and they got one or two trucks out of the convoy as we went out of there. And we got out of there, and we wound up 200 miles below there. In a small town across the bridge, in the Colmar Canal. And that was where I got hit the second time. We were going across this open field, and Greg was with me, and he dropped back with some replacements we had gotten. When he dropped back, he got into the Germans counterattacked. They come into kind of a pincher's movement on both sides, and they brought in tanks. There was tanks in the town, and when they brought them in, Greg dropped back with these replacements we got. It was about 7 or 8 of them. Got into a house, and Germans surrounded. Greg gave them up. He surrendered. He was prisoner for a while. But I got into town, and we were holding it. They told us to get to the windows, and anybody that could fire or shoot, get to a window and hold it, because the Germans had counterattacked. They come in with tanks. We were supposed to have artillery, we were supposed to have tanks, and we didn't get either one. And I remember the tanks would come down the streets. Each house had a stone wall around it. And that glass, shattered glass is sticking up. They put it into the concrete.
Right.
And it was just high enough so that when the tank come into town, the gun would just clear the wall, and it would swing back and forth. And that thing was big, I'm telling you. And then some stupid lieutenant wanted us to go up there and take a crack at him with a bazooka. Can you imagine? The tank would have been, what, no more than 50, 100 feet away from us. We wouldn't have stood a chance. And shoot at a tank with one of those Tigers with a bazooka, you got to be out of your mind. And I guess one guy didn't have the bazooka shot right out of his hand there with somebody with a rifle. But when I left there, that was about 11 o'clock at night. I was standing in the doorway, or leaning against the stairway, the guy in the doorway. And the mortar shell went off. The guy in the doorway went by me in the corner, and I got hit pieces, and I got hit in the leg there.
You flew across the room.
Well, when we went into that place, the funny part of it was we had to cross the canal. And they had a rope bridge across. It had a slatted wooden bottom with bolts hooked together, and then about every 10 feet they had a big steel rod stuck in with an eye in the top, and they had a rope going through the eyes,
Right.
across. And it was fine where it was stretched out before you got anybody on it. It was stretched out. It was, oh, heck, that far above the water. Oh, nice. Okay, no problem. So we get on this thing and go across it, and the guy in the middle was about 3 feet in the water. And the rest of them were high and dry, It was funny thing. But we got through that. We got to town, and we held it, and that's where I left them for the last time up there.